番だ。行くぞ。
Yes. Before I could set my mind straight, it was time for our performance. As I walked on stage, I was surprised by how close the audience was. It's been a long time since I've performed with people this close. I could see each and every face in the crowd from the stage lights. Amongst them, I saw Nishimoto. Together with Nishimoto were several other familiar faces. He really did bring my old friends to watch. Yes, yes, I see you. Nishimoto and the others politely waved at me. It was hard to play, but oh well. I myself knew that I couldn't concentrate at all. I'm sorry. This is bad. Focus. I was unsteady on my feet. I felt like I was walking on clouds. Like my feet were melting and my body was sinking. The spotlights blinded me. My vision seemed to waver. This is bad.
Soicchi, 行くぞ.
Yes. I knew it was bad, but our performance started. I'd played this song many times, drilled it into my body. Even if I was unsteady, there shouldn't be any major problems. There shouldn't be. I don't know what that noise is. I listened to the original on CD, watched it on DVD, and practiced it myself, sick of it. I practiced it enough for my body to play it on its own, even if I was asleep. It should be, but this was wrong. It wasn't just because I was feeling bad either. What's going on? It was the song I knew, but there was something different from the song I practiced. The attention so what I practiced at my very best. That's what the gig is, isn't it? And yet Gonda-san and Master's performance were different, especially Gonda-san's. We only practiced together once, but this was completely different from practice, wasn't it? What is this? I was being dragged into Gonda-san's rhythm, his overwhelming rhythm. It was hard to believe that this was the performance of a man who was just drinking liquor. No. Is this because he's drunk? At any rate, I was overpowered by Gonda-san's sound, and I couldn't do my own performance. My guitar isn't even necessary here like this, is it? Damn it! My stress was rising. This may have been the first time anger even built up so much for me as I played it on stage. My eyes fell on Nishimoto and the others. I felt like they were watching me struggle and laughing it up. God damn it! I saw Kanade looking at me with worry from the hall. Soicchi-kun was looking my way. He looked so painful. What is this? Am I gonna have to narrate her too? This was Soichi's first concert, and yet this heavy atmosphere was hung from the beginning, and my heart can't stop pounding. This is ridiculous! But Soichi-kun is trying his hardest on stage, so I couldn't have to say much. Man, I wish I could have got it. Oh. The girl beside me muttered something. It was Kaguya-san. Despite what she said, she actually did come to watch Soicchi perform. Did she come to watch him fail, like she thought? But she looked better as she watched Soichi-kun struggling. What did this girl really think of Soicchi? Cheers started coming from the audience. Soicchi looked like he was having a hard time, but the guests were enjoying it. However, that was because of Father and Gonda-san's ability. Soicchi was managing to keep up with them somehow for now. But just barely, that was all. He was performing on his own. He really was desperate and barely holding it together through will alone. I couldn't just stand still any longer as I shouted out. Kaguya-san noticed me as she heard my voice, but I couldn't worry about her right now. Soicchi looked very painful on stage, like he was fighting a lone battle without an ally on the field to help. even though the member on the stage were supposed to be his allies.
ったく、何やってるのよ、あいつ。
Kaguya muttered again. She looked irritated, probably at Soichi's playing. But why? I could tell Soichi was irritated at himself as well. Soichi wasn't bad at all. No, considering how few days it's been since he started, he was way too good. In terms of the song alone, he was far better than me already. And yet, Soichi wasn't enjoying his performance at all, even though everyone listening was enjoying it so much.
Gonda-sanのベースだ。
Gonda-san's bass was uploading the groove in the hall right now. Gonda-san was ruling this place.
ゴンダさんすごい。
I hadn't noticed because I was only watching Soichi. Even now, I was overwhelmed by his performance. Father's drums were matching Gonda-san's perfectly. His bass drum was in perfect sync with Gonda-san's bass, and they raised each other's sound even higher. But Soichi alone was completely left behind. He couldn't keep up with their performance, especially not Gonda-san. Soichi's guitar was completely buried under the sound of Gonda-san's bass.
でもこれ、正一君だけが悪いんじゃないよ。
Gonda-san's bass was too self-centered. Gonda-san was incredibly good, but too self-important. It had an overwhelming impact that he was ruling this hall right now, but he looked like a tyrant. He was just holding it down with overwhelming power. Gonda-san wasn't looking at Soichi or any of the audience members at all. He looked like he was barely showing awareness of Father's drums, but that's because Father was making him. Father's drums were just barely holding back Gonda-san's rampage. Without them, the song would probably fall apart. Their current group was only barely being held together on a precarious balance. I shouted once more. Soichi looked at me. I wiped as hard as I could. Don't leave, Soichi. At that moment, another figure appeared on stage. I had a hunch and looked beside me, but Kaguya-san was no longer there. Then the one who just went on stage was... As I desperately fought with my guitar, I finally noticed due to their stir from the audience. There was someone aside from us on stage. It was Kaguya-san. What was Kaguya-san doing on stage? Samejima-san shouted from the wing of the stage. However, Kaguya-san wasn't even looking at Samejima-san. Gonda-san and Master had both noticed Kaguya-san's presence, but they were in the middle of the song and didn't say anything. They just watched her with suspicion. What had she come up here for? Kaguya-san stole away the stage mic Gonda-san was using. Gonda-san tried to stop the song and protest, but Kaguya-san raised her hand and stopped him. Her resolute aura held the air, and it was hard to resist, hard enough to shut Gonda-san up. Our performance kept going, but now all eyes of the audience were gathered on Kaguya-san. And then, one cry. Kaguya-san's voice filled the hall. Kaguya-san began to sing. Her voice made everyone sing. Kaguya-san, sorry, I'm a little taken in by the song right now. Kaguya-san haven't even started singing the proper lyrics. Just la la la. But with that one cry, my frozen body was freed in an instant. That's how I felt. Just like that time before. Just like that time when I got mixed up with those foul men near the station, like the boys that said my name. I wanted la la la. Does she never know the lyrics? Or is it the reason why she wasn't singing properly? Some sort of resistance to me. Ow! Kaguya-san silently kicked me in the butt. Yay. Whoa. I spaced out and stopped moving my hands. I really went back to my performance. That was a disgrace. But now my body was moving better than before. I wasn't worried about Gono-san's basis much anymore either. Right now, what ruled the stage in this hall was Kaguya-san's vocals. Gono-san's bass was timeless. I completely yielded to a deep tune, but Kaguya-san's vocals were different. Her voice straightened me up and let my body be free. My body moved just as I had taught it to during all that practice. I couldn't tell that the sound of my own guitar was completely different from before. Yet still, it was amazing. Kaguya-san's song. This might have been like an emotion felt when I first went opera. Of course, vocals and opera singers shouldn't be compared, but the emotion that shook my soul was similar. What was this? What was in the song to move my heart so much? As I played the song, I felt like I could listen to her sing forever. But time flies. Moments ago, this felt like the eighth hell, and now I hated the flow of time. But our song would have been so. Kaguya-san finished singing the final phrase. Kaguya-san's song ended. Our song ended. At the same time, the crowd suddenly went wild. The cheers were amazing. The stage was swallowed up in the flood of the cheers. The sounds, the lights filled our bodies. I had never reached a reaction like this with the violin. Even if it was a thunderous applause, there were never such straight, primal cries of joy. So this was the color of voices, enjoying themselves from the bottom of their hearts. It was dazzlingly bright. However, Kaguya-san didn't wear a single smile amidst the hall full of cheers. I don't know what was unsatisfying, but she stood there. What'd I do? Gono-san raised his voice at Kaguya-san. The continuous cheers were
悪かったわね。でも文句ならそこのギターにいなさいよ。
She jerked her chin towards me.
あんまり情けない音鳴らしてるからイライラしてつい黙ってられなかったのよ。確かに成り行きでやることになっちゃったって感じの音だったわ。
I couldn't argue that. I wasn't satisfied with my output today either. However, turning her eyes away from me, Kaguya-san got off the stage. That was the first time I'd heard Gono-san sincerely praise someone. I couldn't move. Kaguya-san's words were a real shock to me. The continuous cheers sounded awfully far away. Ryuji-san, the staff, and the other members of the other bands came out from the wings. Band changed.
さすがエイジさん、すんげえ盛り上がったじゃないですか。今日は嵐さん。
That was probably Gono-san's fan. The members of the main band happily talked to Gono-san. Oh, yes. Urged by Gono-san, I withdrew to the wings. By that time, Kaguya-san was nowhere to be seen. I ended up following that girl out. After she finished singing, she got off the stage and headed right out the door. I was worried about how crestfallen Soicchi was on stage, but I couldn't help but worry about that girl as well. Oh no, she's getting raped. Ah, that voice. I headed in the direction of the voice and soon found Kaguya-san. She was with a man. It's Samijima-san! That man called Samijima-san.
一体どういうつもりだ。いきなり関係ないバンドのステージに上がるなんて。
別にどういうつもりも何もないわよ。
じゃあ何なんだよ。
何でもないわよ。しつこいわね。
They were arguing.
俺には文句言う資格はあるだろ。同じバンドのメンバーなんだからな。
だからもうやめるって言ってるでしょ。もう関係ない。
She was completely rejecting him. Samijima-san slammed his fist against the
一
concrete
体
wall.
何だってんだよ。俺らの何が気に入らないってんだよ。どういうつもりなのかって聞いてんだろ。
Samijima-san raised his voice.
そういうのが嫌なのよ。
I just thought of a funny idea. Since I'm like, of course I'm not gonna be able to do a girl's voice. I should just voice freaking Kanade like this. I'll show you in the next time. I'll do it the way like, I think she should be spoken.
そういうのうざい。
うざいって。俺はお前の何なんだよ。
何って何よ。
Her look was challenging. Oh. It was amazing that she couldn't stay bold against this man in this situation. That's how Kanade sounds in my voice, in my head. Somebody was so watched. I'm just kidding. I won't do that anymore.
お前が俺のことどう思ってるかは知らないけどな。俺はな。
What's this?
俺は
Is this
お前のことが。
tough luck, guy. But he couldn't bring up the next words out.
言いたいことがあるなら早く言えば。
だから俺はだな。
Samijima-san was bright red and frozen stiff. This was a confession. Right. Oh, she's freaking out.